And you're still watching the AM show. As I indicated earlier, we have Enimwa Enimado, who's standing by out there in the streets, blessing the streets. Hello, Enimwa. Hello, Enimwa. What have been your observations so far? Yeah.
Hi. Yes, we're here in Kaneshie. Okay, and we are speaking to the Informal Waste Workers Association. They're the ones who are going to be really hard hit when this bylaw, when and if this bylaw is going to be enforced. I have John Bosco with me and also Nsubila. John Bosco is the secretary for the Informal Waste Workers Association, and Nsubila is also the secretary for the Okankwe South Workers Association. So, John, you've heard about the fact that there are plans to take the Aboboyas off some of the streets. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Really, if they're taking Aboboya out of the street, it's not going to be good, because the waste in Accra here in particular is too much. Even though as we are many, we are collecting the waste, still there's more waste, which even took gutters and even on the street. So taking Aboboya out from the system is not really good. And it's going to give Accra a big problem, because the contractors, they can't do all the work, because there's some particular areas that the big trucks cannot go inside. So the Aboboya used to go to that lungu, then take the waste.
Okay. Nsubila, let me ask you. So it's not as the Aboboyas are being taken off the streets completely, but the minister or the bylaw will not allow you to use some streets. So, for example, some of the major streets. So you can use, some of the lungus and all of that. Do you think that will affect your ability to do your work properly?
Oh, probably. It can affect us, but somehow it can affect us in such a way that no matter how that you go to the areas that a big car cannot enter, once you pick the baller out, you must pass that street away to where you can dump it. So that only that point that would affect us. But if they stop us not to go to traffic or go to roadside and pick all the baller there, we can accept it. But if you pick the baller at the houses finisher, you must pass way to where you can dump, and that's the same street that you can pass.
Okay, John, so over the past few years, since Aboboyas have really become popular, a lot of drivers have complained about how your people drive on the streets. A bit unruly, stopping at all places. And some of the highways, you're supposed to go fast, but the Aboboyas can't go fast, so they are causing traffic and all of that, which is why the minister or this law will take you off the streets. Do you think that there's anything that you can do to stay on the streets without causing problems for the rest of the drivers and the pedestrians?
There's a way, because some of our boys, because of they come to Accra, they don't have any work to do, then they just find out to start picking the waste. So we need education. If the minister can organize us and have education to educate us on how to use the route, because some don't even know how to use the route. He can just park anyhow, drive anyhow. And second point is that where we dump the waste, it's a problem. We don't have any landfill. The landfill is boom. So imagine somebody picking waste from Kaneshie here, traveling all the way to Tama. Where would the person pass? You have to pass the highway, which will cause the problem. But when we have a mini transfer station just nearby, after picking, you go and offload it to the bigger cars and they take it far away, we don't have any problem. But right now that we don't have any place to go, we have to pass through the street. See? So we need education. If the minister can organize and educate us so that we know how to use the route. That's what I can say, yeah.
Okay, Nsubila, so if you are taking off some of these highways, how will it affect the amount of money that you are able to make from the work that you do?
It will affect me, but whatever that I earn, I have to have it, Clara, because there is nothing like any dumping site nearby me. So before I was traveling here to Tema or Pum, the petrol that I will buy, it will affect me. But it's my job. I must manage it in that way.
So do you take the Aboboyas all the way to Tong and to Tema?
Exactly. We travel from here to Pong. Some go to Inshumia, and some go to Kaswa, Old Barrier. And which is, that place is illegal because it's not right for us to go there. So some manage to go to that place. But right now, if we have transfer station, example like Timota, Zoom Park, and Kolobu, they can accumulate it. People need to sleep there 3 days before exposing the waste. So imagine you go to Tama and come back that day. Then you go to Kolobu, then you'll be in the queue until morning to evening at the night. Even sleep there before the following day. You prefer to go past the street and go farther away.
Well, you've heard from the Informal Waste Workers Association, Israel. These are their concerns. I'll hand over back to you so that you can put it to the experts.
All right, sure. Thank you very much, Enimwa, out there on the streets. Now, I have joining us via Zoom, Cecil Gabra is a transport consultant, and I also have Kwame Kodietuahene, Head Regulations, Inspections and Compliance, National Road Safety Authority. Thank you to you both gentlemen for joining us. I'll start with you, Kwame Kodietuahene. I want to understand why we're having to do this, getting these, or exactly what we're seeking to do as far as the Aboboyaa's restriction is concerned. All right, please unmute so I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Good morning to you and to my my older colleague Cecil on the line. I think it is clear that the Greater Accra Regional Minister, since taking office, is taking very popular decisions as far as the authority is concerned. We commend him for the bold initiative. We've often said that in the safety conversation, one of the key considerations is political will. Oftentimes when you desire to take one decision, sometimes you are frustrated by the political considerations to take other options. I think in the city of Accra, and most likely in other urbanized environments, in as much as these vehicles, motorcycles, tricycles have been licensed to provide one service or the other. If you drive on our major highways in Accra, a typical eyesore is the Accra Tema motorway. It is such a frustrating experience to have motorcycles, tricycles in this context, regardless of what goods they carry, creating a bit of discomfort on an expressway. So the idea, as I understand it from the RCC's coordinating point of view, is that, yes, these guys have been licensed to provide one service or the other. However, as far as their operations are concerned, we must begin to take them off the highway. One, they create nuisance may not be intent for us, but they create a bit of obstruction to other road users in these expressways, and they increase the risk of dealing with crashes, the risk of occurrence of crashes, and in some cases they are happening. So if there could be other ways to put them to use, I think that we should begin to look at it. A few weeks ago, I was in Sudan, and to put it in context, it is not out of the ordinary. If you went to Sudan today, Israel, I could confirm to you that within the municipality, hardly would you find a tricycle or in some cases a motorcycle. It is not because they are not there. But Sunyane, the regional coordinating council, I believe, working with the traditional leaders, found a way to let it work. And given that Accra is more populated and there's quite a number of these tricycles, the step taken by the minister is right, and we ought to support it so that we can also learn from the experiences that other examples in and around the country appear to put up. And I think we ought to commend it.
All right, so I come to Cecil. Cecil, so what's your understanding why we're doing this? Please unmute, Cecil. Yeah, I believe we can hear you now, Cecil. Hello, Cecil. You probably may have muted again.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, all right. Right, so good morning, everybody, right. I quite agree with my brother, and therefore you would realize that a lot of accidents have occurred. There are hundreds of these tricyclists battling it out with taxis on the streets of all the regions, not only Accra. But then again, if you look at the LI 128, section 1 and 2 of the road traffic regulation, it states categorically that that motorbikes cannot be used as fare-paying passengers, which refers to the motorcycles and tricycles being used as Okada. You will also realize that if you go to 3, right, it talks about the issue where they can use it for commercial purposes. Okay, that is courier and commercial purposes, right? If I'm right, I don't have the laws here, but I know that Yahini will agree with me, right? However, the laws did not say specifically the roads that they have to use. Okay, but again, the minister is asking for bylaws so that we could restrict them from using major roads as well as the highway, right? It is very clear, and we all know that by law, we can't have the Aboboyaa, the tricycles that we call them, on the motorway. The motorway is a unique place, and many accidents are rather occurring because we have neglected the full, implementation of the laws. Okay, we have the good laws. Ghana has one of the best enforcement laws in Africa, but laws are not being enforced because of political reasons, I should say it. The tricycles that we're talking about must be banned from using the highways and the major road. This will mean that they can no longer compete with vehicles. And if you look at their speed, they are driving at a speed of about 40 kilometers per hour. And I'll take the route that I use, for instance. Every morning I use the Maxwell Mahama Highway. You find the Aboboyaa right in front of you. And on that road, honestly speaking, people drive very fast, which is also one thing which the police must look at. And then you find a tricycle right in front of you. And if the tricycle is right in front of you, you could tell the traffic jam that this tricycle is causing. So I side with the minister. I mean, Henry Korte, he has been my minister of the moment, and he should go ahead. In Ghana, just like my brother said, any good thing comes with bad information. People will not talk well about it. Well, of course, it will affect those guys' work, but they must be limited. For instance, if they are taking the garbage around La, they should be restricted so that they don't go to the main road. And as I listen to your other colleagues, Enimwa, if I'm right, we should also have the situation where the regional minister will help AME to improve on at least the garbage collection that we see, so they don't come to the main road. They are quite a nuisance.
Right, so they're playing, we agree that they're offering a service and playing a critical role in trying to get rid of the garbage in the city. Now, they say they pick the garbage. If we say we should keep them off the roads, how do they get the garbage to those Tema and the Boong and the rest where they have to send the garbage? Where do they do that if they can't get onto the highways?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, that we should have an improved system where they can, I mean, if it's SLAT, they should have one place where they can put their garbage, where a bigger truck will come for that garbage. They shouldn't try to go to the motorway. I mean, that's the no-go area. The motorway is a fast lane, and by law, such tricycles or even motorcycles that have got a cubic capacity less than 250 cannot be on the motorway, as well as bicycles, human beings. The laws are there. I mean, they are written in the airline. So they must not try to go to leave the community to go anywhere else. So there should be an improvement. So I am urging the minister to look at all these things before the law will be implemented. And then also those selling water are also part of it. They must not leave that area. They should only operate within, let's say, I've given myself La because that is where I operate. Immediately they get to the main road, then it is trouble. Okay, many people die. And then the most, disgusting issue is that you find them with maids. People seated by the bucket, and that makes it so dangerous. Yesterday, I saw one in Israel. I'll send you videos that I took, right? Has his family, that's the wife and the child, and then he's riding the garbage. I don't know where he's going to. So far as we are concerned, and as a National Road Safety Authority, myself, and all road stakeholders of the ministry, we believe that our utmost priority is to save lives, reduce the accident rates in this country. So maybe one day we'll say we'll not have one person, gone within a day. We'll have 0 incidents, and Ghana will be free.
Okay.
Again, we have the best laws, and we must implement them.
Now, Mr. Chiahene, so we're aware of the law. I'd want you to actually get into the law and what it says in the law that says that these people can be on major roads. Let's get some clarity, and then we can talk about enforcement. Can you explain to or tell us exactly what the law says as far as these tricycles and motorcycles are concerned?
I think, like Cecil indicated earlier on, that first of all, they are allowed to be registered as vehicles, and but not for fare paying purposes. But the law clearly allows that they could be used for delivery and courier services. Within the context of the Airline 2180, that sets it out clearly. But what the minister seeks to do is to encourage the various municipalities to use bylaws, which is also within the law, to be able to demarcate exactly where these vehicles that have been properly licensed or registered could carry out their trade. So it is not the case that the directive or intent is to crowd these guys out of job, but for public safety reasons, these restrictions are allowed. Let me go back to, in fact, when you look at it from the broader perspective, the Constitution allows for freedom of movement and all kinds of guarantees. But the Constitution, for public safety reasons, say that where your conduct, your activity may create public safety constraints, we could use all kinds of laws to try to create these level of restrictions. And that is what the ministry is trying to do. Having the Regional Coordinating Council together with the relevant stakeholders are trying to do. So in essence, yes, the tricycles are registered by law, but there's a limit to their use. They are not supposed to carry persons. Nonetheless, in their delivery services, it has appeared that they create a bit of safety issues. And by this bylaw, as is being discussed, we'll be able to restrict their movements for public safety reasons.
All right, so I'll come to you, Cecil. So I've had conversations with you where you say elsewhere in Nigeria, for instance, they've been able to do this so effectively. Tell us a Nigerian story.
Well, what I know is that, especially in Lagos was populated with Okadas as well as the tricycles, right? Just like we have a new minister, regional minister, we also have, I think, the mayor, okay, who is doing his best to reduce the carnage on the roads. And I believe that we are on the right steps, just like that of the Nigerian governor. That's the governor of Lagos, right? The real situation is that laws were made, but if you look at the laws that were made, and for political reasons, just like we know in this country that last year we had XYZ party who said, look, vote for me and I'll legalize Okada. And we all know that wasn't any good thing. That will bring a lot more of deaths than people surviving in Israel. So the issue is that we need to look at the way forward and implement all the laws. That's like I said, we have the best road safety laws, but then are we implementing it rightly? So we can let it work. The minister can let it work. In fact, I like him a lot. So far, so good. He has only been the minister who has not started in his office the whole day. And I believe other ministers must emulate this good example from Henry Korte. And I do believe that, once again, our utmost priority is to reduce the carnage on the roads.
Right. But you both agree, I'd want to believe, that before this bylaw is enforced, we should actually have an understanding which roads these Aboboyas and tricycles can't use, so that we're all on the same page. Because, as I was telling you, some way, somehow, they would have to get their whatever garbage they've collected or cargo to a certain destination, and it may go across a certain highway.
It's precisely so, Israel, and that's what we are all saying, that we should have one point for them to dump their garbage, and then a bigger truck will pick it up and send it to wherever it is across the motorway. It is so wrong for the Aboboyaa, the tricycle, to apply any major road as well as the motorway. They are quite a nuisance, and apart from that, they always cause road crashes and then increase the numbers. So it makes Mr. Tuahin's work very difficult.
I know they can be quite a nuisance, and sometimes these tricycles also feel, in fact, they're carrying garbage, and they feel that they can also jump the red light, just like motorbikes. And which is wrong.
That is true, Israel. The fact is that they are slow. They can't match up with a speed of 50 kilometers per hour for vehicles, which is the maximum speed limit. They are very, very indisciplined, and they think they are always right because they haven't been to any training. I mean, it's just so easy for anybody to buy an Aboboyaa and say, look, this is what I want to do. They even carry passengers, which they are not supposed to do. So do they know? Right, the deaths are due to indiscipline of such riders or drivers, the Aboboyaa riders. But then that should also extend to, I'm just praying that the minister will come and tell us what he has also for the Okada people, because they are all quite a nuisance. But you see, one other thing that we also, the mistake that we make is that we always compare the courier riders with Okada, okay, which is so wrong. I mean, I had a battle with somebody on radio, and then the person was even insulting me that Okada is all over in UK, don't I know? But he was referring to courier. Those with courier services are also run the courier services are also part of it. They all run red lights, so the Aboboyaa is also running the red light. He feels, yes, he has the right of way.
Now, at the end of it all, it comes down to enforcement. And I know that here in Ghana, it's a challenge enforcing anything. Mr. Tuahene, even when we have settled it and have indicated that there are some roads that they can use, enforcing it is going to be a challenge. How do you intend to get around that problem?
I think for starters, as Isela has explained, we need to help clarify exactly the parameters for this directive if the bylaws come to stream. Map out these affected users, do as much sensitization as possible, possibly give them sufficient time to process the change, bearing in mind that there should be other opportunities to still support their trade. So if in a given area there is a site that will collect the waste from them to be transported appropriately to other locations, all of those discussions must take place. But to be successful, as far as enforcement is concerned, I believe it has to start with a lot more deeper consultation and sensitization. And this whole process is part of it. Given sufficient time, I'm not too sure when it will kick in, but within a month or so, if we sustain the sensitization and try to have a clear understanding of the transition, I believe that these operators will come to stream, particularly when there will be avenues for them to continue to provide their trade, except that we do not want them to come on the highway. Once they get educated, the municipalities with their various task force, together with other public sector institutions like us, TV and the police, will work together to find ways to ensure that the directive is not paid for our collective good.
All right, thank you very much, Kwame Kodua-Chiahene. He's the head regulations at the National Road Safety Inspections and Compliance National Road Safety Authority, and Cecil Gabra, who's a road safety consultant. Thank you both for joining us for this conversation. You're still watching the AM show, and we have more coming up. Don't go away.